I'd prepped numerous anecdotes and comedic metaphors in preparation for my review of Star Trek 5-Year Mission. Some were convoluted and meandering. One dove into the allegorical messages in the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. Another had dragons. Ultimately, I figured it wasn't worth it. The game is deficient in numerous categories. The theme is lacquer thin, slapped on a simple die-placing mechanic. Character roles are imbalanced. There's very little in the way of production quality. Even the box is devoid of inserts. It offers a handful of cardboard cutouts, a fistful of bargain bin dice, and a stack of cards all adorned with licensed photos and minimal graphic design. In contrast, let's look at another game with a similar mechanic, Elder Sign. Just one second. Okay, just click here. Ooh, options. And, okay, wait, all right, and okay, yep, okay, good. And done. All right, take two. Elder Sign. A game focused on die placement, though permeated by original artwork, dozens of tokens, and multiple stacks of cards. The dice are customized, and the game is steeped in a decorative theme based on a rich intellectual property. Both games are relatively inexpensive, with Elder Sign only a few dollars more than the already cheap 5-Year Mission. Comparing these two games is like comparing an AMC Pacer to a Honda Civic. One boasts quality artistry by a well-recognized company, and the other boasts more glass than the Sky Dome. I think I lost sight of the metaphor there. It's an easy assumption to make Elder Sign the winner in this category, pronouncing 5-Year Mission as wanting. Even? Mediocre. Yes, thank you. So, set the auto-destruct, code 11A, evacuate the ship, beam to Genesis, and kill Christopher Lloyd. Oh, not the actor. But I mean, why play one when you can have fun? Except my friends and I keep returning to Star Trek 5-Year Mission. But why? Look at it. Its rules are simplistic, the production quality pedestrian. It features rules that are blatantly unnecessary. The character cards are woefully unbalanced. It does so much wrong, commits numerous sins that should cast it from Olympus. And yet it's fun. When you play it, all the shortcomings vanish, and you find yourself enjoying the experience. Somehow. Like brie cheese, covered in mold, bitter taste, yet amazing. Especially with sun-dried tomatoes or roasted garlic. Honey with balsamic drizzle. Lathered in a blackberry compote. Maybe with some toasted pecans. Fringed with a crostini and paired with a nice Cabernet Sauvignon. You know, I got a 2015 bottle of Mission Hill Reserve Cab Sauv that would go great with that. Wait, what was I talking about again? The rules are simple. Each player receives a character card, or multiple if desired, and each receives the same dice, 2 red, 2 blue, and 1 yellow. Underneath the main starship board falls 3 columns, blue, yellow, and red alert decks at the top. Escalation occurs at the beginning of the round with the reveal of one mission of the current player's choice. That player then rolls all available dice and attempts to place them where needed. Die placed are persistent, allowing players to finish missions started by others. When all the required dice are placed, the mission is considered a success. If it features a special ability, that character gains said ability as a single-use bonus. If labeled by the familiar Trek chevron, that furthers the group towards the goal, as the game's success is dependent on reaching a certain number of successful missions displaying this chevron. A mission is lost if removed from the board any other way, including shifting a mission below the 3rd row. Gain 5 failed missions, and the players lose the game. Each card has its own set of rules to make success difficult. There are missions employing a sand timer, priority missions that must be completed before those without this symbol, and there are other obstacles as well. The most frustrating is the alert symbol, indicating another higher mission must be revealed. The goal line can be set as low as 10 successful missions to as much as 20. And that's really it. Player cards also feature special bonuses that range from the valuable to the worthless. Captain Picard gains 1 additional die. Captain Kirk can reroll any die of a specific color. Counselor Troy can give away ability action cards. 2 of these are useful every turn, and the 3rd I've never been able to employ. Yes, by the way, I am a TNG, Next Generation fan. I'll just let that ooze to the surface. And you're also not mistaken, there is an additional card in my box. This 8th character is a promotional card. Helps to have friends. There's a good reason why this card is not included in the game, by the way. Pandemic, this is not. Star Trek 5-year mission is not frustrating. You won't pace the living room waiting for your turn. A full playthrough is relatively fast, and despite some complaints, I've never felt my time was wasted playing it. The game is also easy. Not uncomplicated, I mean easy. I've lost 5-year mission once with at least a dozen victories under my belt. On more than one occasion, I managed to reach to 25 completed cards with only a handful of red alerts remaining when losing, which brings up a point about how this game should be played. The strategy is relatively easy to figure out. Fight your urges to draw blue alert cards and instead draw yellow or red if you can. Red won't escalate, and your victory is dependent on clearing at least a few of them. Second, if you reveal a prime directive card, don't worry if you can't succeed at it. It may hurt your chances of winning if you ignore other cards in your efforts of preventing this one from failing. The game offers some strong concepts, which may appear obvious, but as stated at the beginning, are shockingly absent from other cooperative games, namely the fact of persistent dice. Players being able to succeed at missions others start, the definition of cooperation. Compare that with Elder Sign, which lacks this element. So with that, let's move on to my new segment, Homebrew Corner. The only real identifiable issue mentioned on social media is the tendency to roll dice and the result having no place on the board, effectively wasting your turn. Regardless how easy the game is, it can still be frustrating if a player turn is wasted because of a die roll. Another observation regards the setting of the difficulty. 1. Difficulty. It is intended you prepare your journey by establishing a difficulty at the start, even though it does not affect the actual play of the game. So why establish it at the beginning at all? Why not play the game and ascertain your success at the end? If you reach Lieutenant, just push on to Lieutenant Commander. There's another alteration to difficulty, which I'll speak about at the end. 2. Character abilities. I would suggest Deanna Troi be allowed to use ability cards twice before discarding, in addition to the ability she already has. Additionally, recalling an ability card has its cost reduced by 1.
What was that? What was that?
I know. I'll explain that in just a minute. 3. Reroll. Elder Sign's biggest issue with me is the relative lack of cooperation. There's very little players can do to help other players, and the game's difficulty is based on occasional player turns being wasted. If one were to allow persistent dice, it would fix the issue, but also make the game incredibly easy. I'm not here to address that, but it would be an interesting experiment to port some Elder Sign rules over to 5-year mission. In Elder Sign, succeed or fail, you can reroll unused dice. If you cannot place at least one on the board, one must be discarded. For 5-year mission, my variation involves rolling dice, setting aside those you want to use in your action box. If you want to reroll the others, set one aside, roll it. On a 1, 2, or 3, it's returned to the supply. On a 4, 5, and 6, it's placed in your wound box. Yes, I borrowed that from Subterra. Another suggestion involves the missions that neither count for points or offer additional abilities. As they accumulate, players can expend them, returning them to the box and out of the game. This borrows a mechanic similar to one of the expansions in Onirim. To implement this, be sure to separate your Chevron cards with used ability cards with those cards with neither. Any player on his or her turn can discard one successful mission from the pile, returning it to the box, to reroll any desired dice on your turn without risk or sacrifice. Alternately, 3 cards can be discarded to reclaim and immediately reuse one of the spent ability cards. Both the 3 cards and the ability card are removed to the box, unless the ability card has a chevron, in which case it shifts to the win row. 4. Win state. All of this offers the opportunity for players to be more useful on their turn, reducing the chance of wasting a turn. However, this does make an easy game even easier. This can require an alteration to the win state, where commander difficulty would equate to captain, captain, admiral, and so forth. Admiral will now be 22 or even 24 cards. This certainly will extend time, thus I'm suggesting another alteration. Each time a chevron mission is completed, the Enterprise suffers 1 damage. In every game I played, destroying a ship was never a threat, so this creates an additional sense of urgency and can help mitigate the reduced difficulty. In conclusion, Star Trek 5-year mission is a perfect game made imperfectly, which I would take handedly over an imperfect game made perfectly. I take shoddy production over shoddy mechanics, and even though 5-year mission gets certain elements wrong, the core works. It's roll for it with a cooperative element. After that, any theme would be incidental. I'm rather surprised they haven't made a half dozen other themes and strengthened the idea with games that look, well, better. Taking that into account, it feels like Star Trek 5-year mission's greatest failure was its potential, as ideas could have been spiraled off to make a much better game. And there are other games that are better that are using similar mechanics. And this future may never come given the closing of Mayfair Games. As it is, it stands on its own, boasting ideas other games employ while lacking the polish to make it purely great. This is Chris from Deus Ex Machina. I know some of you guys are curious, but no, this miniature discovery was not part of the box. This was a promotional toy that was given out to people who went to see Star Trek Beyond. I know you're envious, but no, it's something we employed for multiple characters in a 2-player game.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.